Come on.
Nature, so vast, so incredible. It has been the continued inspiration for documentary filmmakers for generations. Here, in this new world of man, nature still exists alongside him. Here in the early morning hours, man has not yet awoken, and nature continues as it ever has, quiet and peaceful. A cool mist circles the land. Birds chirp and awaken as the humans are still in their beds. This nest is the habitat of a group of animals which we shall be studying in depth in this program. This room is the living space of the Nick Mendolia, here surrounded by all of his things. Here the Nick Mendolia sleeps, undisturbed by the sounds of the world. What does he dream, I wonder? At the beginning of the day, this creature shall... Wait, what's going on there? What's that?
From the day we arrive on the planet and blinking step into the sun, there's more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done. There's far too much to take in here, more to find than can ever be found. But the sun rolling high through the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round. It's the circle of life, and it moves us all through despair and hope, through faith and love.
Yes, unfortunately, this is the subject of our documentary, the Mendolius catastrophus. Observe his thick, curled hair, which keeps him warm in the colder climates. We shall look into the life of this Mendolia in one day, a day which will have an impact on his life greater than he could possibly imagine. But just what is this creature that we call the Mendolia? For more information, we turn to field expert Dr. Andreas Kono-Nicolau.
The Mendolia is a very rare creature indeed. It is very unpredictable. It can be a wonderful friend to those who know how to tame it, but that's very unusual. One has to be very careful during its mating season, because if you get in the way of the Mendolia, it can injure you. It can injure you. Don't stand in the way of the Mendolia and its potential mate, because these two organisms mate very infrequently, and then when they actually do mate, it can be violent, very violent. It's actually a rare creature found mostly in the climate of the upper coniferous forests, and it comes out late in the day, early in the evening at dusk. That's when it forages for food, and it I can go on and on about the Mendolia. It's a beautiful creature, very well adapted to its environment. But you must see its mating dance, its mating ritual. It is it's unique. It's unique because of the way it does the little jig with its and loud. It is so incredibly loud that it can be heard for miles and miles. And of course, when the male Mendolia makes this loud mating call, the female Mendolias come from all the way around. The problem is when there are two or more male Mendolias in the vicinity. It can get pretty hairy, a lot of loud noises. They don't fight to the death, but they will fight to injure each other, these male Mendolias. And the female just sits there, all the females just sit there and watch what's going on. It doesn't happen in captivity. That's why you cannot keep a Mendolia in a cage. It has to be free. It has to be free to dance, and they will only dance in nature. Beautiful animals. You must see them in their natural habitat, in their full plumage, because that's when they're most beautiful. But it's just an amazing experience. I've been able to witness it twice in my life. And can we shut this down, please?
Is this a part of
Despite the loud noises that he emits from his mouth, the Mendolia is actually quite stealthy, as you can see here, as he stalks the lunchroom. Here the Mendolia has a run-in with the Rhinus saltus saltus. He attempts to eat the food of this creature, but the saltus saltus is able to hold him off. The Mendolia must look for food elsewhere.
There's a lot of that on there.
Here the Mendolia begins the feed. He must eat 10 times his body weight every day and works it off by yelling very loudly, all the time. A flock of 6th graders attack. The Mendolia vainly tries to hold them off. A wild Felicia flees from the scene, as that is her best defense in the situation. As he exits the lunchroom, the Mendolia begins to feel something swirling in the air around him. This is his mating season. Excitedly, the Mendolia rushes off to find a new potential mate.
The evolution of the Mendolia is interesting because the ancestors, we now believe, were the Credolias. And Credolias changed over time. They were actually in a more southern habitat. Like in the Connecticut area, there were a lot of Credolias. We're talking hundreds of thousands of years ago. They were chased out here by organisms that were their predators. They were chased to the north where these predators didn't exist, and they somehow, the Mendolias, were able to adapt to a more northern climate by just by chance, of course, growing soft, fuzzy fur, and that kept them warm in the colder climates.
These two Credolias are attempting to build a fire. Many arguments such as this in the building of a fire would end violently for the Credolias. This Credolia attempts to dislodge a branch from the tree as fuel for the fire. Quite unsuccessfully, I might add. While the Mendolias have no shortage of wood, unfortunately, they do not know how to light the fire. Often, Credolias could spend months on building one fire. Many scientists attribute this to their decline and eventual extinction. Credolias were expert hunters. Here, one returns from a bear hunt with his prize. The greatest contributions of the Credolias to modern society were the invention of sweatpants and, strangely enough, opera music.
Hundreds of thousands of years ago, these Credolias, by necessity, migrated north in order to survive. And they evolved into the Mendolias. Of course, the ancestor of the Credolia, we're not sure what that is. We're not sure what that is, but maybe it was a horse. We're not really sure. They have that kind of horse-like quality to their hoofs, but Yeah.
Let us return to the antics of our little friend. Right now he is... I'm not exactly sure what he's doing right now. This is quite strange, actually. Right. I suppose we'll leave him for a little while, and let us again turn to learn more about the evolution of this creature.
This is our planet, 530 million years ago. Nothing yet lives on land, but in the ocean, it's a different story. Life has already been evolving for millions of years at a slow and steady pace. A 100 million years have passed, and the fight for survival has filled the Silurian seas with variety. Some creatures here would be recognizable today. Sponges filter food alongside sea urchins. The orthicone is a distant relative of squid and cuttlefish, but he's as long as a truck. Being able to see and react to enemies has triggered an arms race force behind the variety of life. To combat being visible and vulnerable, 80% of creatures in
Orthicone campylus. There is a distinct lineage between these 8 individuals that we have represented here. At some point, it was in the early 90s in the foothills of the Wasatch Valley in Utah. We were looking through ancient fossil records in an ancient ocean. We came across this grisly beast that is now known as Orthicone campylus. We later found that Homo sapiens, over a long period of time, evolved from this thing. 100 million years later, after we carbon dated Orthicone cambylus's origins, we found that he is in some way connected to Kevinus baconus. The fierce dance moves, we can't make a connection just yet. However, we can make a connection between Kevinus baconus and the common platypus. The opposable thumb and poisonous barb might be connected as well. Moving on, we see the common seahorse and the modern day horse. The connection there, I think, is just a name. Further, as Professor Nicolau referenced, the nomadic credulous catastrophus took foot throughout most of North America through the last ice age. There is a connection, and it's shrouded in controversy. We hear it in the media: Bigfoot, Yeti, the Sasquatch or Squatch. All of these are just names shrouding the actual creature at hand, the Mendolius catastrophus. The public is yet to know the true gravity of this thing.
Here, at the watering fountain, a group of females has gathered to socialize. These females are joined by a Jeremy Ritchie. Females in this area exist in small social circles such as this. Here, they not only compete for social position, but also for the natural resources such as the water from this fountain. The Mendolius sees the females and approaches, hoping that he will have greater success with this group.
All around me are familiar
you. It wouldn't be in summer. Seeing you in summer, I never would go. Your hair streaked with sunlight, your lips red as flame, your face with a luster that puts gold to shame. But if I'd ever leave you, it couldn't be in autumn. How I'd leave in autumn, I never would know. I've seen how you sparkle when fall nips the air. I know you in autumn, and I must be there.
Volacus hooligans, one of the worst predators in this area. Notice his horrid fangs and his great deadly jaws. This is a formidable adversary to any Mendolia. The Mendolia has nowhere to turn. He must face the Volak on his own.
Small. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to please. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Super afraid. Oh no, what is going on?
The Mendolia searches for the females, but they cannot seem to be found. Time is growing short. Predators have begun to come out, many far worse than the Volacus hooliganus. A wild Savini howls in the night. There is one threat that the Mendolia has not yet seen, lurking below. This is the greatest threat to the Mendolia today. Poachers. These poachers use the candy to lure the Mendolia to his eventual doom. Here they lie in wait, knowing that their bait will not go unnoticed.
Ooh, piece of candy. 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 Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah, boy. I got him! I got him!
poachers drain the natural oils of these creatures from their blubber in order to make lava lamps. The illegal lava lamp trade has been going undisturbed for the past 40 years. It is the greatest cause of death amongst Mendolias.
I can't wait to insert one of these. I'll put that in the book. What's your safe word again?
See how you like it. How you like it? How you like it?
Now look at Matt.
It's the fence!
I'm here! I'm here!
Thankfully, these poachers were brought to justice. Unfortunately, many like them, including their leader, are still at large. But the world may be safer in knowing that their numbers have been diminished today.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am David Attenborough, famed British naturalist and the narrator of such popular series as BBC's Planet Earth and The Blue Planet. Today, you have caught a glimpse into the life of the Mendolius catastrophus through the events of one day that have drastically changed that life. You have shared in his struggles, and you have shared in his triumphs. While many Mendolius still thrive in their environment, they are at risk of deforestation and poaching, such things that cause horrible loss in the numbers of these creatures in the wild. Very few still exist, and those that do may be comfortable in their habitat now, but are sorely at risk for extinction and endangerment. Now, what you can do is to donate to such organizations as the African Wildlife Foundation. Such organizations make it their goal to ensure that habitat loss and poaching and the encroachment of human civilization into the environments of such animals is put to an end, and that these animals are allowed to thrive and maintain their numbers in the wild. Your donations go to helping such a prestigious organization in its efforts to maintain the purity of these environments. I hope that you've all enjoyed the program that we've put on for you today, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching the antics of this creature. What are you doing here? Stop!
Mendolia. Which one? Matthew? I don't know, I'm looking at a picture of him right now. Yeah, it's the same one they got hung up in the post office. You know, the FBI puts up there. I don't know. I don't know about this kid. Better be careful. You got it. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. That's him. What are you looking at?
It's a fascinating field of study, just emerging because up until now we have not been able to see many Mendolias in public.